Anybody know what I'm talking about? Listen, for me, I don't have to be hungry to eat. Eating is a hobby. Can I get somebody to say amen? Okay. So God picks, listen, y'all. God picks the most unlikely, the most unreasonable, the most irrational bird species. If he would have sent a dove, maybe we could have explained it. If he would have picked a pigeon, maybe we could have explained it. But God said, let me figure out what is the most unlikely bird that I made in my creation. The one I know nobody, when they're talking about this story in the year 2015, they still will not be able to explain away. No scientist, no matter how brilliant they are, no person that studies birds and their habits, never will anybody ever be able to explain how a raven, for more than a year, came back to the same place at the same 2 times every day. Let me tell you the reason why he wants to separate you. Because in the place of separation, not only does he sustain you, and not only does he shield you, but y'all, it's in that place that he will just plain old, flat out surprise you. Where he sets you up to be blown away at the unbelievable ways he is taking care of you and covering you and providing for you. He wants to bring solutions into your lives that honestly you didn't even pray for, because the best request you could come up with didn't even touch the fringe of possibility of what God had in mind for this particular circumstance. Listen, he wants to bring this kind of miracle into your life. The Ephesians 3:20 variety. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond all you can ask. And if you can't ask it because your brain can't even come up with the right words to verbalize it, that's okay. He says, just think it and I can do past that. That's what he does. The worst thing in the world is trying to throw somebody a surprise party and they won't get in the car and come with you for the... Gosh, I just think that God is in the heavens going, oh, I got some surprises for you. I have some stuff up my sleeve for you you cannot imagine in regards to your finances and in regards to your marriage and in your regards to your kids and in regards to your grandkids and your great-grandkids that you don't yet know. I have some surprises built up for you, some stuff that I fully intend to do for you just because you're my girl and I love you and I want to give you more. He says, I've got plans for you, but you got to get in the car and come to the party. And he says, it's in that place of separation. I'll surprise you if you let me. I'll blow you away at how good and amazing I am and can be in your life. I have some friends, a couple, their daughter is my goddaughter, and they recently had a lot of transition in their life. They worked at a church, both of them a very successful church in Dallas, enjoyed pastoring there over adult ministries, I think. But the husband felt God whisper about 1.5 years ago, go away from here. It was going to mean a huge change for them. He prayed about it for a while, sought wise counsel about it. My friend, his wife, was kind of unsteady about the whole thing. These were her people. This was their church. This was where they not only worked, but where they fellowshiped. Their kids had connections there in the youth group, and this is where they'd been. This was their community, but he felt strongly that God was saying. So he obeyed, and she did along with him. Very, very, very tough year. The Lord led them to a new job. It was at a nonprofit organization where they were helping people keep their housing when they had issues, financial issues, and headed toward foreclosure. Enjoyed that job. The Lord called them to actually start a new church plant with another couple, and so they're in the forming stages of this little church that's developing in the north side of Dallas. But he said to me the last time I was over there visiting, he said, Priscilla, this has been the toughest 1.5 years of our life. He said, because I can't afford to keep this house anymore. This was the house they built when they got married that their kids have been raised in. This is where they love being, and they can't afford it anymore. He said, I know I've done what God has asked me to do. But this hurts. He said, Priscilla, I got to tell you something. The reason why you're here in this house today, why when you came to visit us, you still came to this house. He said the reason why is because I called the realtor and I asked her to get prepared to sell this house. And on the day she was coming to put out the sign, that morning I was literally in the kitchen with a small little toothbrush sort of thing, cleaning out some of the corners because I knew she'd be coming by to check things out because she was going to be bringing people over. And while I was down there on the kitchen floor on my knees, he said I hadn't really verbalized this much, but I said just between me and God, God, seriously? This is my family. We have done what you've asked us to do, but this is so disappointing. Anybody know how that feels? So he prayed and he said, Lord, if there's any way you can help us keep this house, do it. It was the day that the realtor was coming to put up the sign. That afternoon, they had a soccer game in the neighborhood. Their kids play on the same little league team that some other people in the neighborhood play in. They were out there with all their kids. There were neighbors all around because these neighbors, all their kids played in the same little league team. He had seen lots of these people before, but not more than just waving at them and saying hello. One gentleman from one couple that lived a few houses down, came over during the soccer game the same day he had been in the kitchen, the same day that the realtor was coming up, and he said, hey, I've noticed the realtor coming by every now and then. Are you guys moving? These two hadn't talked much ever, really, other than to say hello at the games. And my friend explained to him that, yeah, they were going to have to move out. They were going to find another place to live. This gentleman, who's not a Christian, nice people, but not a Christian, he said, you know what? My wife and I were talking the other day, just talking. We were thinking about buying another house in our neighborhood. They had their reasons. I can't remember what they were, but he said, we were just thinking about buying another house in the neighborhood. And you know what? If you guys are going to sell your house, don't put the sign out because we'll buy it. We'll buy your house, and we don't need it right now, but while it's available, we want to go ahead and purchase it, but we'll let you guys live there for the next 2 years or so. Surprise! God shows up and does that.